Manchester City have made their way through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup after an amazing performance. Goals from Kevin De Bruyne and also Raheem Sterling has secured that spot in that semi-final right there. This is We're Not Really Here. My name's Kyle Walker. I'm joined by Natalie Pavelek. We've got Shaun Wright-Phillips at home, and we've also got Joleon Lescott, who is set up in his box room at his mum's house as well. Joleon... Joleon, we'll start...
Mum's house is fine.
We'll start with you. I'm not going to let you live that down, that it is your box room, your old room as well. Joleon, we'll start with you, though. It seemed like from the start, that game was never in doubt for Man City.
Yeah, as I said, when a team like City lose, we've seen it early in the season when they lost to Norwich, and then they faced, I think it was Watford, and it was a devastating performance then. I think, obviously, the scoreline wasn't the same as that game, but the performance was there for everyone to see how determined they were from the start to win the ball back as early as possible and obviously nullify any threat that Newcastle posed.
And Shaun, that was, of course, the perfect answer to Thursday night's defeat at Chelsea. Is that a sign of a great team that they can do that straight away?
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
Shaun, here we go. Look at this crap internet.
Shaun, are you there? Joleon's going to keep on going at you. We can see you. There you go.
Yeah, I can't hear through the mic.
Don't worry, we'll get those technical issues sorted right there. Joleon, we'll stick with you though, as Natalie was just saying. The game on Thursday, losing the Premier League crown as well. They could have had a disheartening week so far, the Manchester City team, but they've turned it around. There's still plenty to play for this season, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't a great result, and the outcome obviously of the game led to Liverpool winning the league. But let's be honest, that was going to happen at some point. The gap they had. But in regards to this game, it was just the back of a defeat, and a group of players of this quality don't go often with two defeats in a row, and have showcased what they are capable of when they're playing at full throttle.
And we really did feel like we were just in complete control for that entire game. And going into the second half, getting to about 50-55 minutes, it did start to feel like we just needed to be patient. Were you kind of getting that vibe too, Joleon, that it was going to come, we just need to stay calm and patient?
Yeah and no. Obviously, playing and knowing how games develop, there are going to be opportunities for Newcastle. No one can kind of dominate it for 90 minutes without the opposition having a chance. But as soon as they missed that chance that they had, I kind of knew then that was kind of be the end for their threat and kind of their chance to kind of get back into the game. City then obviously went back up to the other end of the pitch and showcased what quality they had, and it was a great finish from my man of the match, Raheem Sterling.
Now, Joleon, just to follow off the back of that question, as a pro, what is it like when the clock's ticking down and you know that you need a goal, you know that you need to create a moment of magic and it just doesn't seem to be coming for you, but you know you need to remain patient? How does that feel?
It feels nerve-wracking, but then, as you see on that table in front of you, you'll see 93-20. When you have people like Sergio Aguero, David Silva, Jesus, Raheem Sterling, you kind of know the moments are going to come, and 1 minute of brilliance from players like that is inevitable. And as I said, it wasn't quite that close today, but in regards to being patient and knowing that you're going to create other opportunities, he's only there to see in the Man City squad.
Now, someone you just named was Raheem Sterling. He did score Manchester City's second goal. It was the 555th goal that we've scored under Pep Guardiola, which is just incredible. But we talked a little bit before about Raheem Sterling and how he's flourished under Pep Guardiola. Is he a key component in ensuring that this season is still a success, Joleon?
Oh, definitely. I think he'll be the first to admit he probably hasn't hit the form he did before Christmas since the turn of the year. But in regards to the threat he poses, the quality he possesses, his attitude to the game, he's so effective in every game. He obviously, if he doesn't score, he creates chances, and that's the kind of sign of a great player and the mark of where he's going to go. He's going into the top echelon of players now, what we can talk about, that are just affecting every game they're playing.
Now, we're giving our thoughts here and We're Not Really Here, but we want to hear yours as well. So make sure you're using that hashtag WNRH. You can send all of your pictures. You can send us your thoughts after today's game. Also, looking ahead to the semi-final as we take on Arsenal at Wembley. Natalie, Wembley's a place that we've enjoyed over the past 10 years, but let's be honest, it's going to be different without the fans, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, football's just completely different without the fans, isn't it? But Wembley, even bigger, an even bigger ground. It's going to be feel even emptier. But I think hopefully by now, by the time we get there, we'll have played quite a few games in this situation. We look like it hasn't affected us. We look focused. Today we looked so focused. We looked so determined, to get the result. That I don't think it's going to affect us either way. Obviously, I'd much prefer it if we were all there, if we were enjoying another day out to our second home, but I'm really confident that the team are going to get to Wembley and they're going to put in a great performance and hopefully get a similar result that we did already against Arsenal.
Now, Joleon, focus was a word that I'd say we saw throughout that entire game. As I said before, after 27 minutes, Newcastle had already put together 15 passes, whereas Manchester City had put together 188 passes. The speed at which they move this ball, the focus that takes as well, the mental side of the game, it's got to be 10 out of 10 to play under Pep, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that is the biggest thing for me under Pep's reign is the complacency. There's times and performances when it doesn't go to plan, and that's for every team. But in regards to the complacency against lesser opposition, it's consistent and it's thorough, and it's so, as Natalie said, the determination today was to kind of, from the start of the game, was to kind of drill in that we're going to win this ball back as early as possible. And that's the sign of a team that is determined. And as much as City go forward and create all the chances, when you see them winning the ball back as an opposition player, that's the worrying thing.
Joleon mentioned already that his man of the match would have been Raheem Sterling. We've been asking you all to get involved and tell us your man of the match as well. And we've got some results coming in at the minute. You can still vote up until the time that we go off air here. But at the minute, it's a whopping 75% of you think that Kevin De Bruyne was today's man of the match. 14% for David Silva and 11% for Raheem Sterling. I mean, that man, Kevin De Bruyne, is just absolutely and utterly phenomenal. What did you make of his performance today, Kyle?
Once again, we're seeing a player that comes on the pitch and he's so effortless. He just makes everything look perfect. He just makes everything look great and like he's not got out of first gear. It was his birthday today, so we'll say once again, happy birthday, Kevin De Bruyne. As a City fan, it's incredible to have you in this team. But I will also say, well, I'll ask Joleon this actually. Joleon, he's got to be surely one of the best midfielders in the world right now, if not the best midfielder in the world right now.
Definitely. He's definitely in that conversation when the top players are talked about. He has to be in there. And I think when you look at, say, the Ballon d'Or winners over the past few years, it coincides with the Champions League. And if City do go on to win that, hopefully that is the case, he'll definitely be in the running for that accolade because it's consistency. The only disappointing thing today was probably that he didn't get an assist. But in regards to his contribution to the game was as we've come accustomed to seeing, it's just very, very consistent of a high level.
Now, I think hopefully we might have Shaun back if he's dialed up his internet and got it back online. Are you there, Shaun?
Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
Yeah. So, going into the second half, Newcastle, of course, had that chance that Joleon already mentioned with Dwight Gale, literally minutes after he'd come on, that thankfully he managed to put over the bar. We went back up the other end a couple of minutes later and thankfully got our second goal. Did it feel like to you that it came at a really important time, just as Newcastle were starting to perhaps get a little bit more into the game? We went and kind of basically killed it off.
Yeah, most definitely. It's just like Joleon said, though, that they will create a chance in a game, and they did exactly what we both said, that they're going to come out and try and play a more attacking football than defensive, and they will always create one chance, which is what they did. But I think the reaction from City was perfect. They saw the openings and broke the other way, and we got a goal from it.
Now, Shaun, does this just show the mindset of this Manchester City team to be able to lose that Premier League crown, as we said before, on Thursday, but then to turn all of their focus, all of their attentions onto the FA Cup and put a display like they have done today?
Yeah, it does. It also shows that they know what it takes to go into the next game, to win games even off the back of a bad result. And I think with that mind frame, they'll just keep pushing, and after that performance, their confidence will be sky high.
I want to just have a quick chat about a certain man that was on the pitch today that we really spotted here while we were watching the game. Of course, on Thursday night, Benjamin Mendy had that mistake that led to one of the goals, and he has taken a lot of stick off some City fans. I think, though, he came back tonight and he put in an absolute shift. There was about 4 or 5 different crosses that were brilliant going into the box. Joleon, is that what we need to see more of from him? Because we were saying we're desperate to see that consistency and to have him become that player that we know he still has the massive potential to be for City.
Yeah, definitely. I think the problem that will be that he faces that others don't is the fact that he's spent so long injured, is that now he's back to full fitness. The rotation probably isn't helping him. He probably needs a run of like 10, 11 games to kind of get back to the level that he was at before the injury, to then be able to kind of rotate. But if you're coming in for one and then resting for a couple others, it's not the same kind of cohesion and understanding that the other players have in the squad.
Is that something that maybe these players have to just accept when you're playing in one of the best teams in the world, when you're playing under one of the best managers in the world, and you've got so much competition in that squad, so much rotation, but also so many players who can fit into different roles, as we've seen over the past season or two? Is that something these players just have to accept and understand it's going to happen at City?
Yeah, definitely. I think they all understand it and accept it in regards to that and the selection of it. But in regards to what it is for him to others, it's different due to the fact that he hasn't played the volume of game the other players have. So in terms of adapting to the style and in his body adapting to be able to come in for a couple of games, then come out, he just won't understand that yet. And I know it's been a long time he's back playing, but it still wouldn't be at the level of the other players in the squad.
And another man that had an incredible performance today, although he only came on as a substitute in the 60th minute, is, of course, Phil Foden. Shaun, it seems like a ridiculous question to ask when he is so young, but just how good can Phil Foden be? I mean, are we literally looking at, a few... You don't even want to say it because you don't want to jinx him, but how good could Foden be?
I think it's all down to him. He's done everything that he's needed to do. He's learned from some fantastic players around him, and you can see his confidence is sky high. When he came on sub, the ball that Laporte gave to him, for a kid at his age to control the ball like that on his wrong foot, and then move it to get the assist with Sterling, just shows how confident he really is and what he's capable of.
And his maturity is almost insane. Like you say, the way he came on there and was able to control that ball. When he plays at such a young age, Joleon, he really does look like he's there to control the game. No matter what world-class players are around him, Phil Foden is there to control the game.
100%. And I don't think his quality is ever going to be in question. And what he has, which I don't see many players have, is an obsession with football. And I don't just mean love for the game. I love the game, but he's like weirdly obsessed with the game. This kind of thing. He walks around with the football. I know I did some work with England under 21s, and they had to ban footballs from the hotel because he was constantly, with one at his feet, he would want to stay extra on the field and do extra stuff. So they kind of had to monitor that. Like, his obsession for football is none like I've seen before. And in regards to Phil Foden, what he can achieve, he hopefully, touch wood, he kind of withstands any injuries, and he could be the most decorated English player in history. What has he got? Two Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, and he's 20 years old. If he continues this level and stays at City for the remainder of his career, which we hope he does, on average, 2-3 trophies a season, which is going to be remarkable.
And do you think, Joleon, that this delay of the Euros till next year could actually be a real benefit for Phil Foden? Because the way he's playing now, he's certainly got to be looking for a place at least in the squad for England.
Oh, definitely. I think the timing of it all could benefit him, especially. I think we're going to miss David Silva, obviously. But if that means Phil Foden getting more minutes, him getting more minutes for Man City inevitably leads to him playing for England. And hopefully that is the case next season, because he's fearless in his game. He loves the game. He's a sponge to all information that's given to him. So hopefully he can kind of get more minutes next season and then soon make the Euro squad.
Now let's focus our attentions onto the next round. The semi-finals are played at Wembley. We have got Arsenal in that semi-final. When I was talking about it before at half-time, when we were talking about the draw, I tried to be reserved. I didn't try to jump the gun too much. But Natalie, looking at that performance, looking at what this Manchester City team can achieve and what they have achieved in the FA Cup, we're going to be going into this semi-final so confident.
Yeah, nobody wanted to draw us. Everybody, the other teams, Chelsea and United will be pleased that they're not playing us. Despite the fact that they've both had good results against us this season, they'll be really pleased that they're not playing us. We've got the way we're playing. We've got to be favourites for it. With, the game that we had against Arsenal, I'm not expecting them, for it to come out in it to be necessarily such an easy win for us, because obviously Arsenal are, it's a huge game for them as well. Getting to the semi-final, being so close to winning a trophy, something that Arsenal, with the greatest respect, haven't done in a while. It's going to be a huge game for them too. But we've got to be favourites for that game.
Now, we have played Arsenal, we've played Burnley, we've played Chelsea in the Premier League, but also we've now played in the FA Cup. That's 4 games. Joleon, this squad of players who've had so much time off, they're going to be so close to getting back to full match fitness now. We've seen what they can do when they're at that full match fitness, when they're at 100%. Do you think they're going to end this season on a high?
I hope so. I hope that's the case. I hope they've obviously benefit from the rest physically and mentally, because that is a massive thing that people probably underestimate, is the mental kind of rest that these players have had, not having to kind of focus on training and games. So going into this hectic period, which is unprecedented in kind of game minutes, can only bode well for what we're looking to achieve, and that's obviously FA Cup and Champions League success.
And Shaun, what's your kind of very early predictions for the Arsenal semi-final game? Would you be expecting it to be similar, hopefully, to the league game that we played just a couple of weeks ago, or do you think that it might be a little bit tougher for us?
For me, I think my predictions would be similar to the game we last played against them. I think City are always going to dominate with possession, and the way they were firing today, all they needed to do is take a few more chances. So I think once they're, like Joleon said, at full tilt, I think a lot of people are going to be running scared of them.
Now, we were talking about who our man of the match could be, and we had asked all of you to vote using that hashtag WNRH. Natalie, people have been voting, and the final results are in.
Yep, the final results are in, and it is that man, Kevin De Bruyne, with a whopping 75% of the votes. And hopefully, Cal, that's not the only thing Kevin De Bruyne is going to be winning for the rest of this season.
Hopefully not. What a birthday present that is for him. Let's talk a little bit more about the game in general. Joleon, for you, thoughts after that performance, thoughts after the project restart? We're 4 games in. Manchester City, they've dominated today. They look special again, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said before the game, they've probably reached the kind of level they hit before the restart faster than any other team. I know they've had a blip in that result-wise, but even in that game they showed moments of brilliance. But today's result was kind of off the back of that negative result, and it showcased what City can do when they're firing at all cylinders. And going into the next game, I know it's Liverpool, it's going to be a different ask, but they'll only be full of confidence. And Pep wires this team to win every game, regardless of what's at stake. He wires them up to make sure they're at their maximum.
Yeah. And Shaun, finally from you, a great performance tonight. Like we've said, a perfect bounce back after Thursday night. It's looking pretty positive. It's looking pretty good for us from now until the end of the season, do you think?
Yeah, it's looking very positive. I think if we keep up with what we're actually doing and the way we're playing, especially up top, and defending pretty well as well, I think we're in a chance to do very well and have another successful season.
Well, there we are. It's been an amazing show. Once again, we're not really here. Let's have a quick revisit of the predictions as well.
Ooh, yeah. Now, Shaun, we're sorry. Joleon, of course, beat you in the pre-quiz FA Cup.
Look at him dancing right there.
He knows what's coming, doesn't he?
The last one as well.
So, of course, Joleon did predict 2-0 and Shaun had 3-0. And I think you both had Sterling to score as well, so okay.
There we are. Thank you, everyone.
I had Sterling and KDB.
Oh, okay,
Unlucky,
okay.
Shaun.
Just got the score wrong. Got the score wrong. It's okay.
Score wrong, Shaun.
We can leave those two to go back and forth all evening long.
Yeah, I think that we definitely need to get Joleon and Shaun back on. And Joleon, I just want to make an open invite to you. You're welcome to come and sit on this sofa with us. And I don't know if Kyle will be so cheeky if you were sat here.
I'm not sure.
I know, yeah.
The cameras might fall over. He might break the set or something. We saw what he did before, so...
He's looking at social distancing, otherwise I'd put him in the headlock.
Joleon and Shaun, thank you so much for joining us here at We're Not Really Here. We're at the Etihad. Natalie, thank you so much for joining us. And to everyone that has watched, thank you. Manchester City have beat Newcastle to make their way through into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. They will face Arsenal in that at Wembley, but next, we turn all of our attentions to Liverpool on Thursday night, and we'll be back here with We're Not Really Here, back in the studio, and we'll see you there. Good night.
Welcome to 5 Live Sport on what should be a huge night in the Premier League title race. Liverpool 6 points clear of Spurs at the top of the table. The champions Manchester City a further point behind.
Is this a title decider in the sense that if City lose, Liverpool are gone?
You'll see both teams going for it. I think City have to win it. It will be again. It really will be, but we know that both teams will attack.
It's a massive game.
I mean, it's been played tonight, this game, in splendid isolation, isn't it? On a Thursday night, Thursday the 3rd of January, and I think that is certainly too early to be talking about a title decider, but it is unquestionably a massive game. The world is watching here tonight.
We said before, you know, the 12th man is more than just the fans. It's something from within. It's a desire. It's something that you can't describe. And today was there, and it made us a better team. We're a better team when we play with emotions.
I've never seen the stadium have an atmosphere like this. It's the best I've ever seen the atmosphere. From minute one, they never let go the whole game.
I think everyone knew the magnitude of the game and wanted to get behind us, and I think they feel the same thing as us, the passion of that we're obviously in second position, and it was a massive game to get close to Liverpool.
It's just a total different feel to a normal match day.
Like this is good. It was good to be back at the Etihad. Today was just the beginning.
So we don't have much time for the first game now.
Pep likes very simple, very fresh food.
So in this situation, it's weird, but I think after 2 or 3 games, it will be normal.
We just needed to make the fans proud of it.
We've had no Premier League football for 99 days, and the wait is almost over.